Hi everyone, we are starting with third chapter of Plus One Business Studies, Private, Public and Global Enterprises. A little highlight about why we are studying this chapter in Business Studies. You must have already studied in your economics about the situation of India at the time of independence. That you must have studied in History of 10th standard as well as economics, and then the economic situation of India after independence. So what happened that once India got independence in 1947, the people who were actually responsible for the nation took some initiative and some resolutions were passed and some kind of structure was given to the economy, where when defined our economy, we never wanted a capitalist economy, we never wanted any other kind of communist economy. If you say, we wanted a different kind of economy where we could work in a better manner. So it started with the concept that what kind of economy will India be? They said India would be a mixed economy where private and public sector will prevail together. What's a mixed economy? Like I told you, public and private sector comes together. Now what's a public sector and what's a private sector? Please get it very clear. We are not talking about public company and private company. I am talking about public sector and private sector. Public sector is government owned and it works for the welfare of the society or the nation, and private sector is privately owned by individuals and work for the profit maximization. When you give example of private sector, we are talking about, like for example, sole proprietorship company, all those kinds of organization. But when I am talking about public sector organization, I am talking about departmental undertaking, statutory corporations and government companies. You must have heard about Railways of India. That comes under, that's an example of departmental undertaking. In details, the different types of public sector enterprises will be doing, or public sector organization will be doing later on. First, the introduction part. Starting with first thing, private sector. What's a private sector? It consists of business owned by individuals or group of individuals, like privately, right? For example, sole proprietorship, then you talk about partnership, or you talk about company, form of organization, that's all private sector. When you talk about public sector, you talk about, it consists of various organizations owned and managed by the government, either partly or wholly owned by central government, or it is owned by the state government. We know the kind of structure we have in our economy. So we have central government and we have state government, and either of them owns the public sector enterprise. But when we talk about global enterprises, these were the third type of, like the chapter says, private, public and global. The global enterprises are which kind of organization? The business which works in more than one nation. It can be private, it can be public. So basically what we are talking about is the business which operates in more than one country is known as a global enterprise. So which is like the multinationals we have in India, or Indian multinational which is operating outside will be a global enterprise. Now, I talked about what kind of economy does India have. India has a mixed economy where private and public sector enterprises exist together to ensure profit maximization along with public welfare. Why? Because the public sector talks about the welfare of the public and the private sector talks about the maximization of profit. It's not that the public sector doesn't want to earn profit or something like that, but their major objective is for the society, the development of the society. Now, what happened at the time of 1947, something like that, our economy was agrarian economy. So the infrastructure was not very well developed, the industries were not well developed, and we were initiating, the pioneers at that time or the political leaders at that time were trying to initiate betterment in the country. We had just attained independence a year back, that is in 47. So in 48 they came out with some kind of acts and some kind of regulations, and they started forming committees, and a lot of planning was being done. So they came out with Industrial Policy Resolution of 1948, and what did the 1948 Industrial Policy Resolution emphasize? That it said that Government of India has specified the approach towards development of industrial sector. I just now told you that our industrial sector as well as infrastructure were not well developed. So in 1948, first thing we initiated was that industrial sector will be developed properly. Second, the roles of public and private sector were defined. So where the public sector will emphasize its role and where the private sector will take initiative, both were defined. At that time, private sector was not ready to take much of initiative. The reason behind it was that when you set up an industry or anything on a very large scale, immediate profit is not possible, and private sector is always looking for immediate profit. And at that time, India had such a condition that immediately getting profit was difficult. So basically, public sector took more initiative, but private sector was also given a hand that you can also operate there. The government, through regulation and acts, see, regulations and acts were there, was overseeing economic activities of both private and public sector. So economic activities, as we all know, when we talk in terms of earning profit, livelihood, so the government was trying to put in regulations and trying to put in acts, and I told you, forming committees and planning things so that things could be done in a righteous manner. Now, once IPR 1948 was initiated, that is Industrial Policy Resolution, so around 1951, the leaders started thinking about the economic planning. A 5-year plan was initiated, which just we were not able to complete that 5-year plan. There were some obstacles to it and it had to be stopped. So somewhere around 1955 and 56, they prepared another plan, and when new plan was prepared, again Industrial Policy Resolution of 1956 was prepared. Now this Industrial Policy 1956 resolution had objectives. First objective was to accelerate the rate of growth of industrialization. See, since 48, our intention was to grow the to grow the industrial sector, and here after so many years, almost 8 years, again the intention was the same, that to accelerate the rate of growth of industrialization. So India was not very well developed in this context. The public sector was given a lot of importance with a mutual dependency on public and private sector both. Now here, more emphasis on public sector. The reason was not that we never wanted to initiate private sector. Private sector was not ready to invest in many places because they wanted quick profits, and that was not available at that time with the situation and the kind of conditions India was going through. So the public sector was given a lot of importance here with mutual dependency. So we could rely on the private sector too. Both public and private sector had a mutual dependency with each other. It took us many years to actually grow and actually do things. After 1956, what brought the change, remarkable change, was the policy of 1991, which we commonly know as the time of LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization. But Industrial Policy Resolution had something else in mind, and what did at that time 1991 Industrial Policy emphasized that the government encouraged disinvestment. Disinvestment was, it means selling the share of the public sector to the private sector. Now private sector was very ready to take initiative. It had taken lots of initiative, lot of private companies had come up, and 91 was a time when many young entrepreneurs took initiative, started companies, and you will not believe, since 91 till date, those companies are blue chip companies. Their shares are on the highest on Sensex and Nifty, and as well as, you will not believe, those companies are doing very well for themselves. So those private companies were initiated, and they actually took initiative also at the time of 1991 with LPG. Government encouraged disinvestment, then allowing greater freedom to private sector. Like I told you just now, private sector was given lots of freedom to operate, and then FDI was invited. So if you really look at it, first is disinvestment, privatization. Allowing greater freedom to private sector, liberalization. FDI was invited, or MNCs get entry into India, globalization. So almost the same thing, but in a very subtle manner is being said out here, because these were the resolutions of Industrial Policy of 1991. Disinvestment, freedom to the private sector, FDI was invited, foreign direct investment was invited. Undoubtedly, multinationals gained entry into our country, and since then we have been having lots of multinationals in our country. In continuation, I would like to tell you about that before starting with the forms of public sector enterprises, I am giving you 3 questions. The 3 questions are: first, difference between private and public sector. Second question, what are the features of public sector enterprises? And public enterprises, or public sector is a right word out here, I have missed it out, public sector enterprises, and factors affecting choice of public enterprises or public sector enterprises. What are the factors affecting it? So the first is difference between private and public sector. Private sector, privately owned; public sector, owned by government, central or state, partly or fully. Then here motive is profit making. Here the motive is public welfare. Private sector, sole proprietorship and partnership are the examples, whereas public sector, departmental undertaking, statutory corporations. And when you talk about departmental undertaking, you can give example of railways. So these are the examples. Accountability, this is accountable to the owner. So people are accountable means answerable, कि आप जवाबदेही आपको किसकी है, ठीक है. So you are answerable to the owners. Here you are answerable to the general public. जैसे कोई एक्सीडेंट हो जाता है तो इमीडिएटली क्या होता है कि मान लो रेलवेज़ का एक्सीडेंट हो गया तो रेलवे मिनिस्टर इज़ आंसरेबल टू दी जनरल पब्लिक. तो वो इमीडिएटली बाहर आते हैं, बताते हैं कि भाई ये रेलवे एक्सीडेंट का क्या रीज़न था. सो जनरल पब्लिक को आपकी आंसरेबिलिटी हमेशा रहती है. आई रिपीट, अकाउंटेबल का मतलब क्या होता है, आंसरेबल मतलब जवाबदेही. प्राइवेट सेक्टर इज आंसरेबल टू दी ओनर्स, वेयर पब्लिक सेक्टर में आंसरेबिलिटी इज टू द जनरल पब्लिक. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल रेलवेज में अगर कोई एक्सीडेंट हो जाता है तो रेलवे मिनिस्टर इज आंसरेबल टू द जनरल पब्लिक. वो आकर जवाबदेही देते हैं कि ये एक्सीडेंट किसकी नेग्लिजेंस की वजह से हुआ. सो आंसरेबिलिटी टू द जनरल पब्लिक, जवाबदेही टू द जनरल पब्लिक. कंट्रोल, नॉट सब्जेक्ट टू स्ट्रिक्ट गवर्नमेंट कंट्रोल, नॉट एट ऑल. जहाँ पर गवर्नमेंट की रेगुलेशंस या लाइसेंसिंग की रिक्वायरमेंट है वहाँ प्राइवेट सेक्टर में आप लाइसेंसिंग देते हैं, अदरवाइज इट इज़ नॉट रिक्वायर्ड. पब्लिक सेक्टर में सब्जेक्ट टू स्ट्रिक्ट गवर्नमेंट कंट्रोल, इट इज़ वेरी मच सब्जेक्ट टू स्ट्रिक्ट कंट्रोल ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट बिकॉज इट इज़ अंडर पब्लिक, इट इज़ अंडर द गवर्नमेंट, सॉरी. एंड गवर्नमेंट जहाँ भी आपको किसी भी तरह की सब्सिडी देगी, कहीं भी आपके अकाउंट्स ऑडिट करेगी तो इंटरफेयर भी करेगी. ऐसे ही आपको फ्री में सब कुछ नहीं मिल जाता, या गवर्नमेंट आपको अगर फंड्स भी दे रही है, अगर अपने बजट से फंड्स एलोकेट करके दे रही है तो गवर्नमेंट इंटरफेयर करेगी. नेक्स्ट इज व्हाट आर द फीचर्स ऑफ पब्लिक सेक्टर एंटरप्राइज. ज़्यादा एक्सप्लेनेशन की ज़रूरत नहीं है. पहला है पब्लिक ओनरशिप, दूसरा है पब्लिक फंड्स, ठीक है, तीसरा है पब्लिक अकाउंटेबिलिटी. पब्लिक का मतलब यहाँ पर क्या है, पब्लिक सेक्टर के आपका जो फंड है वो गवर्नमेंट से आता है, पब्लिक का फंड जो फंड्स वहाँ से आते हैं, ओनरशिप किसकी है, गवर्नमेंट की है. अकाउंटेबल किसको हो आप, जनरल पब्लिक को अकाउंटेबल हो, क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली उनके टैक्सेस से जमा किया हुआ फंड आप यूज़ कर रहे हो. कंट्रीब्यूशन टू इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट, पब्लिक सेक्टर एंटरप्राइज का सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट फीचर यही होता है कि वो इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट में कंट्रीब्यूट करती है. हमने यहाँ पर बात भी किया है पब्लिक वेलफेयर की. सो आप इसको यहाँ पर कुछ इस तरह से इसको ये भी कह सकते हैं कि वी टॉक अबाउट, यहाँ पर वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट पब्लिक वेलफेयर, आप इसको ये भी कह सकते हैं. और participate in economic activities of the country. So contribution to the economic activities of the nation is also one of the feature of public sector enterprise. What are the factors affecting choice of form of public sector enterprise? क्योंकि public sector enterprises 3 तरह की होती हैं. क्या आप डिपार्टमेंटल अंडरटेकिंग लोगे, या स्टैट्यूटरी कॉर्पोरेशन लोगे, या गवर्नमेंट कंपनी करोगे. तो उसके लिए आपको पता होना चाहिए आप कैसा बिजनेस कर रहे हो, नेचर ऑफ ऑपरेशन, रिलेशनशिप विद गवर्नमेंट किस चीज़ को ज़्यादा एनकरेज करती है, दैट इज़ मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट. एंश्योरिंग ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल परफॉर्मेंस, प्रोडक्टिविटी, कि आप जो भी काम करेंगे उसमें प्रोडक्टिविटी जो है बेनिफिट देगी, बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली पब्लिक अकाउंटेबिलिटी भी है और पब्लिक वेलफेयर के लिए भी काम करना है, और पैसा कहाँ से जनरेट होगा अगर इन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से नहीं आएगा. और इंश्योरिंग क्वालिटी स्टैंडर्ड्स, कि आप जब compete कर रहे हैं प्राइवेट सेक्टर के साथ तो ऐसा होना चाहिए कि आपके क्वालिटी स्टैंडर्ड्स उनके बराबर के होने चाहिए. ये नहीं कि लोग डिवर्सिफाई करके, नॉट डिवर्सिफाई, लोग मूव आउट करके जो है प्राइवेट सेक्टर पे चले जाएं. सो दिस वाज द इंट्रोडक्शन टू प्राइवेट, पब्लिक एंड ग्लोबल एंटरप्राइजेस. ग्लोबल एंटरप्राइजेस की हमने ज़्यादा बात नहीं करी, हमने ज़्यादा बात सिर्फ अभी पब्लिक और प्राइवेट सेक्टर की करी है. इसके बाद मैं आपको फॉर्म्स ऑफ पब्लिक सेक्टर एंटरप्राइजेस के बारे में बताऊंगी. उसके बाद हम बात करेंगे कि पब्लिक सेक्टर के बाद ग्लोबल एंटरप्राइजेस का क्या रोल है. आई होप यू फॉलोड दिस मच. बाय बाय फॉर नाउ.